Too bad, Michael Jackson. We're not talking about stems. We're not talking about submixes. We are talking about 76 isolated multi-tracks. I really cannot believe I was able to find these. Incredible. I knew there was a lot of beatboxing in here. I knew that. But what I didn't know is how much of the percussion it actually makes up. You'll hear that, yeah, there's, loops and instruments, and there's a lot of them. This is a complicated arrangement. But a lot of what we hear is simply Michael doing beatboxing in lots of different ways. There's so many incredible layers. I mean, just the vocals alone, we've got all of these. Then we've got everything else. I've tried to organize the session in a way that'll make it easy for us to go through. We've got a lot of other percussive and melodic things happening too. But in the eventual mix, we do not hear the detail. So stick around and really dive in. I'm just going to let a lot of this stuff play and appreciate what it actually is. Totally amazing. Every breath counts. Every little nuance that he grooves into this song with his voice, with his percussive voice, is just priceless. I'm able to do stuff like this on this channel because I teach people how to sing. And I get so excited when I find stuff like this because Michael really embodies freedom in what he does with his voice. And there's no better way to learn how to sing than by studying vocalists like this. Lots of what he does is really hard, but lots of it isn't as hard as you might think if you're willing to experiment and be playful with your own voice. And if you'd like more help doing that, click the link below and join my free voice course, and I'll come alongside you and help you uncover the hidden potential in your own voice. I don't want to spend too much time on the other instruments because we have so much vocally to go through, but I do want to point some things out, particularly in the area of percussion, because it gives us perspective on just how much we didn't know that Michael Jackson's beatboxing actually does in the mix. So here's this main loop that happens. Neat trap kit, right? It kind of does that most of the song, and we hear that. We hear the sound of that in the eventual mix, and we hear stuff like these kicks, providing that bottom end that the voice can do, but it hides it, but it also adds sonically a lot. So here's some other. Combine that with the loop. I mean, all sorts of awesome stuff. A neat reverse sound. Okay, just gonna keep building here. And then we go on, there's lots of other things that come into play here, but, listening to all these little subtle accents in these lines, Spatially, I mean, just incredible stuff. And then adding some of these sorts of things in even. And I usually mention this at the beginning, but if you haven't recently listened to the full mix, definitely do that. Either, pause here and listen to the song all the way through, or right after you get done with this video, go listen to the whole thing, because a lot of this stuff, I can't play the parts of the whole thing because the video will get taken down. But you can do that on your own. So, I mean, just limitless amounts of things here. I mean... Another go little snare sample there. Okay, so you get an idea of how much there's already going on percussively with this song, and you can see why, yeah, you know there's beatboxing there, and it's one of the coolest beatboxing tracks that Michael Jackson does, but you haven't heard anything yet. So we've got this starting at the beginning. I love that you can hear the track in the background. He's just really getting into it. But then you have this that comes in. This is what floored me. Ready? Listen to this one by itself. Just the fact that this infectious, contagious sound gets into my body, and I feel like I have to move and have to like try, like, okay, I'm gonna boom, just do stuff like that until I finally lose the. I'm not a great beatboxer, but I don't care. I get better just by listening to this. Listen to how it layers, it builds around this main loop. I mean, it makes the main loop human. Here, right here. Ready? I'm gonna put the main loop in. What cool. Anybody can do that, right? Practice getting into a groove with it. Okay. Enough of that. Let's build more into this. There's so much going on at the same time. I had no idea. I thought most of it was just percussion, and they kind of bury it in the final mix. Listen to these. A checka. You get that sort of groove, and then you get that. There's always this sense of this bass going on at the same time, like. They used to mic his feet. They used to mic, different parts of his body as he's, on this little platform trying to get these sounds captured in his movement. But layering all four of these together, let's just let this groove for a minute. This is just voice. I love the, Okay, now we'll add some of the more ad-libby sorts of things. Ready? Let's listen to this by itself. This is that stuff that sort of comes in that's totally arrhythmic, right? Pretty neat, but it gets better when we get to how this all fits in with the lead vocals. Here's the leads by themselves, a lead vocal comp.
Tell me that you're doing wrong. Well, I shock it all alone. Crying wolf feeling like a man. Throwing rocks to hide your hand. You ain't done enough for me.
But notice, even here, there is this sense that he's keeping rhythm. You hear him stomping. You hear snaps. You hear he is uncontainable. Then we put these in.
Tell me that you're doing.
I think I just felt some spit on my hand just from that.
Tell me that you're doing wrong. Well, I shock it all alone.
Hear that ad lib? Oh, just that. Listen to this. Still stopping.
Hey, hey. Crying wolf feeling like a man. Throwing rocks to hide your hand. You ain't done enough for me. You ain't done enough for me. You are disgusting me. You ain't been just for me. You are disgusting.
And then he's just singing right on the edge of that grit, right? Yeah. No, it's yeah. It's got that good rasp in there that I'm not even going to try to imitate in the way that he does it. But it's this sense that he's holding back air and he's singing at an artificially imposed limit by approaching his vocal break. You get pretty close by singing right at the top of your chest voice. Yeah. Oh. He's right up there and keyed the song so that he can be consistently gritty and raspy, and it just adds so much texture.
You aiming just for me. You are disgusting me. You don't want your cut from me. But too bad. Look who just walked in.
Those offbeat things that he does just add to the overall percussive nature, right? Because if we put this stuff back in, that that he did there, again, that's that rasp too that makes it work.
Too bad. Look who
Right? That happened at the same time as the stuff that he's doing with the rest of his voice, right? Listen here again. He's got the and then he's got this.
too bad. Look.
Right? That happens at the same time as this. So it gives it an even cooler dimension that he's synced in his approaches and interacting with each take as he delivers a new take. Magic.
Dead and stuffy in the face. Look who's standing if you please. Though you tried to bring me to my knees. Too bad about it.
You also get this sense that he's moving so much and that working the mic is very secondary. You know, you hear a lot of people talk about proper mic placement and stuff like that. Just get lost in what you're doing as an artistic vocalist and creator. Don't worry if you move into the mic or move away from the mic or pop the thing a little bit. It doesn't really matter. What matters is, and you can get rid of that stuff a little bit or just live with it and mix it a certain way that you can't hear it. You can't fix a self-conscious performance, which is the furthest thing from what Michael does. It's fun to hear the raw, unprocessed vocals for sure.
Too bad about it. Too bad about it.
Now listen to these ad-libs. Oh my.
Too bad about it. Why don't you scream and shout it? Too bad about it. Why don't you just scream and shout it? Too bad about it. Why don't you scream and shout it? Too bad about it. Why don't you just scream and shout it?
Okay, so those sorts of things, trademark Michael Jackson. But listen to the different textures here in these. We've got this distant chorus sound, right? It's chorus because it's part of the chorus, but listen to how it's recorded.
Why don't you scream and shout it? Too bad about it. Why don't you just scream and shout it?
So doubled.
Why don't you scream and shout it?
And there's probably some post-processing reverb on there, but it does sound like he's across the room singing into a microphone that is picking him up from a distance, and then they've put additional reverb on it, and it just creates a wonderful contrast-full presentation of background vocals. Like, it's all Michael, but between the different singing approaches and the different mic positions and effects, it's just magical again.
Too bad about it. Why don't you scream and shout it? Too bad about it.
Doubling.
Why don't you just scream and shout it? Too bad about it. Why don't you scream and shout it? Too bad about it. Why don't
Yeah, really, really neat. Okay, let's listen on to the lead vocals a little bit here.
hell all up in Hollywood?
What I want to point out there is, we're so used to him being up and like pushing the top of his both speech and singing resonance. But listen to how low he gets here with the ha, 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 ha. There's clearly some like baritone tendencies in his voice, and I love when we hear that.
Hell all up in Hollywood. Saying that she got it good.
Soul
That
articulations.
she got it good. Creeping from a dusty hole. Somebody told, what do you want from me? What do you want?
Oh, let's put some of these ad libs in here. Right here.
Somebody told, what do you want from me? What do you want from me? Tired of you hurting me.
Oh, the tired of you hurting me. That desperation there on that grit.
What do you want from me? Tired of you hurting me.
It's like he's just choking, and he's fine with it. He's placing things right that it doesn't burn out his voice.
Amen just for me. You are disgusting me. You got pretty less than me. But too bad, too bad. Look who just slapped in the face. He's dead and stuffy in the place.
This could be the track right here, right? Like with that consistent kick that he's doing and the ad libs between his lead vocal phrases. And notice how conscious he is. And we don't know exactly what order he recorded some of these things in, but I love hearing that he fills his own holes. That's the mark of a truly gifted and mindful improviser. He's not just doing stuff. He's reacting. Everything he does is a reaction to something.
I'm right back where I wanna be.
And you get those accidental sort of harmonies too, like this.
Where I wanna be.
Being, hey!
I'm standing though you're gigging me. Too bad about it. Why don't you scream and shout it? Too bad about it. Why don't you just scream and shout it? Too bad about it. Why don't you? Too bad.
The double there. That's awesome. And it may have not been incidental, but it definitely feels off the cuff because of how free he is.
Why don't you scream and shout it? Too bad.
All him.
Too bad.
All him.
Too bad.
Again, I can't play this stuff too long, and I have to start and stop just so that the video remains up. Thank you, copyright owners, for allowing this video to remain up within the constraints that you have imposed upon me. Okay, now let's put it in with a little bit of this rap here. It's fun to hear without all the other instruments going on what's happening here. Because there's so many little, little things happening from a synth perspective that, again, really add to the mix, but take away from the fact that so much is going on with the beatboxing.
Life's about a dream. I'm really undefeated when them.
And I've got little horn stabs in there too, just for context. But
life's about a dream. I'm really undefeated when them J's on my team. Theme. Reality brings forth realism. It's the Man of Steel organism. Twism, not from the prism. Take charge.
yeah.
Take charge like Manila. 9-5 Shaq represent with the thriller. Grab my crotch, twist my knees, and I'm through. Mike's bad, I'm bad, who are you?
Too bad.
Fun to hear that in a more raw state. Now listen to these. Oh, this is so cool. It just builds and builds.
Too bad.
Na na.
Too bad about it.
These harmonies by themselves, because we have to.
Too bad about it. Why don't you scream and shout it? Too bad about it. Why don't you scream and shout it? Too bad about it. Why don't you scream and shout it? Too bad about it. I'm standing though you're gigging me. Too bad about it. Why don't you scream and shout it? Too bad about it. Why don't you scream and shout it? Too bad about it. Why don't you scream?
Those note choices, oh my, just so fun. And from here on out, the improvising and the ad-libs are the coolest, not often appreciated enough stuff.
Just scream and shout, man. It's too bad for me. Why don't you scream and shout, man? It's too bad for me. Why don't you scream and shout? I don't want to. Why don't you scream and shout?
And see, the other thing that's cool is that a lot of these are faded or comped together in the final mix. So you don't hear Michael singing over himself. You know, like with this last ad-lib here, there's some of that in the final mix, but a lot of it is faded in and comped in and around.
It ain't good enough for me. You've been good enough for me. In dirt, the faith, in dirt.
Amazing. But listen here.
Enough for me. It ain't good enough for me. It ain't good enough for me. It ain't good enough for me. You've been good.
Yeah, it works together, but it's not... The mix, the final mix is really important to get that kind of thing right. If you're going to have them both in there, they need to be leveled in such a way that they complement and don't feel like they're walking on each other. There's hardly any aspects or states in Michael's vocal performance where that needs to happen that we hear because he's so good about listening for pockets. But every once in a while, this is kind of neat to do this, right? If you don't interrupt yourself very often, it's kind of cool when you do.
The faith, in dirt, and dirt. In dirt, in dirt, in dirt, in dirt, in dirt.
And we end where we began.
Why don't you scream and shout it? Why don't you scream and shout it? Too bad about it. Why don't you scream and shout it? Too bad.
Remarkable.
Just scream and shout it. Too bad about it. Why don't you scream and shout it? Too bad about it. Why don't you just scream and shout it?
I also like the contrasts of, mic proximity. I talked about that a little bit earlier, but you can tell he's really on the mic on those harmonies, those harmony stacks. And of course, it's aided by the fact that they're not wet. Of course, we're missing some effects, and we have other effects, baked into some of these tracks. But, such wonderful fun. Thank you for watching this video all the way to the end and appreciating this stuff with me. I've been looking for this one for a long time. I'm glad that I was able to finally do it and uncover all of these wonderful, wonderful sounds. Again, if you'd like to explore your voice further, you're inspired by this way of observational learning, click that link below and join my free course, and be sure to check out my full playlist. I've got lots of Michael Jackson breakdowns. We'll see you for more.